Hi guys, welcome to another video with Mel. Today we're going to be talking about National Novel Writing Month, or Nanowrimo for short. For those of you that don't know, Nanowrimo is a challenge to write 50,000 words in the month of November. This is something I've done a few times. I actually used to be a liaison for Nanowrimo for a good 10 years, and I used to write books every November during that time. Some of them were successful, like Becoming Death. Some of them were less successful, and I only got a little ways in. So I thought I would give you guys some tips and tricks for Nanowrimo. I think I'm going to try Nanowrimo out again this year. We'll see how successful I can be with it. I thought I'd give you guys some tips and tricks from someone that's done it a lot on how you can actually finish your book in Nanowrimo. So the first thing I would say, the first tip I could give you guys, tip number 1, is tell everyone you know you're writing a book in November. Now, this seems counterproductive in case you don't actually finish, but actually it forces you to finish. Because people will be asking you about your book throughout the entire month. And when you have to tell them, oh, I quit like 2 days in, you're going to feel silly. So you're going to want to be working on that book just to show that you can do something in that month of November. Remember, the book does not have to be good. It is a first draft. They will be bad. Okay, you just need to get something written. So it puts a little bit of pressure on yourself to get the book started and to get writing regularly, because people will ask you about it, and they'll ask you what your book's about, and it's getting used to talking about it. If you do want to be a writer like me, or like Stephen King, or like R.L. Stein, or any of the famous writers, you have to be able to talk about your own books and be confident to give people like a summary of it. So the second tip I'm going to talk about, this is one I am very bad at, but I know it means that I will be more successful if I do it, which is keep the pace. Now, in order to finish Nanowrimo, you have to write 50,000 words in a month. That seems like an insurmountable task most of the time, but it's just under 2,000 words a day, which is not very much to write. Most people can manage to do that in a good half an hour to an hour each day. So if you are writing something each day, you are more likely to finish NaNoWriMo. And it might be you don't want to do that 50,000 word count. Maybe you only want to do 25,000. You can set your own goal for it. There is no kind of absolute goalpost for NaNoWriMo. So it's about keeping that pace at the beginning especially. So I know if I get behind in the first week of NaNoWriMo, I automatically want to quit. Now, because I've been a liaison for NaNoWrimo, I can't quit during that first week. I am pressured by other people to keep writing. So that's one of the good things about being kind of involved in the NaNoWrimo events and planning, is that you get forced to keep going. So the main reason people quit is because they get behind. So try to keep that pace ahead of time. You might even finish early. So I would say you want to be trying to write a minimum 1,000 words a day, if you can. Maximum 2,000. You usually can do more on the weekends, and I have come from behind many times to win NaNoWrimo, where I've had very bad amounts to fill in, like 10K or 15K words to write in the last few days of NaNoWrimo. It is not fun, guys. I do not recommend. I would suggest trying to stay ahead and writing something each day. Don't let yourself go a day without writing something. Even if it's like 10 words on a page, that's still words towards your total. Don't leave it and go, I'll just do it tomorrow, because you won't. It'll be too hard. You need to be kind of trying to bring a routine in, and so you got to do a little bit each day. It's like it's exercise. You have to do a little bit each day for yourself. Okay, the next tip I would say is to go to the online write-ins and meetups. Now, we're in a very funny time because we're in 2020 and lockdown is happening, and a lot of us aren't going out and being social right now. We are staying at home. But you know what that means? You can go to online write-ins and meetups because you're already at home. You got nowhere else to go. You might as well write your book this November. It makes sense to do NaNoWrimo this November if you're not going to be going out and about. No one's going on holiday. No one's going anywhere. So do your book during this time. If you've always wanted to write a book, this is the perfect opportunity for you to do it. So there will be online write-ins organized by your region on nanowrimo.org. You can also go to their events organized on there. They run them on their Twitter. And it looks like they're going to have things on Zoom as well. They've got some backgrounds for Zoom. So go find one and go to that regularly. They'll probably be at least once a week. Meet up with other people that are writing. It really does help to encourage you if you see other people attempting the same goal as you. So I would say that's a really great thing to do. Okay, number 4. If you think you will need to research or plan for your book, do that in October. Just do it for the week just before NaNoWriMo starts. So that last week, the week of, I think it's the 26th onwards, start planning your book, because you will find it will be a lot easier for you. Now, I'm not someone that does a lot of planning, but I do try and research like some of the things I might need in my book. Like one, I did wig making in my book. There was a section about that, and I needed to know like the basics of it in the medieval times. So I went and researched that. If you think you can get by without researching, that's fine. Write something down. Doesn't have to be true. You can fix it later. That's what the other months of the year are for. So you don't have to worry about getting it perfect in this instance. No one's grading your work. No one's reading it after November to prove that you're a real writer. So you can write whatever you want. But I would say if you find that you are someone that plans, do a little bit of planning ahead of time. And I'll talk about what I actually plan in my book as well, because I don't do very much planning. I'm a pantser. I write by the seat of my pants. But I do have a couple things in mind when I'm writing. Okay, so the first thing I always have in mind when I'm writing, so number 5, is who is my main character. Now, it isn't just what they look like. It's very important you think about personality as well, their strengths, their weaknesses, things that scare them, things that make them happy. There's a really good planner on the NaNoWrimo website right now, and you can go through that character sheet and fill it in. You can have it in front of you when you're writing. I think it would be really helpful for you guys to have something like that to look at, because it means then you have an idea who your character is. You can change it later. There's no reason why, if you want to write your main character's name as Mildred at the beginning of the book and then you change it to Molly later on because you prefer it, you can do that. Easy. Search and find and replace on your computer will help you out with that. But just have some idea who your character is. Make sure you're not just relying on physical characteristics. That's something I see a lot from people that are starting NaNoWrimo for the first time. They don't think a lot about the personality, and the personality is the thing that usually sells the character more to people. So make sure you're thinking about that. Okay, number 6. Along with your character, you also need to know what their conflict is. Okay, when we say conflict, it's the thing they want more than anything else in the world and their goal that they're trying to get to. So what is standing in their way of their ultimate goal? So you have to know that, because that's what your book's going to be about. If you don't know what your conflict of your book is, you probably don't have an idea for a book yet. Try and think what your character needs most in the world. It could be a sandwich. It could be to be able to travel in time. It could be to fight off a dragon. Anything you want, but what is their actual conflict and what's the goal? That is a very important thing to think about before November. The other thing I think is important along with that, and I'd say this is included in 6 as well, this is the main planning I do, is what is your ending? Are they successful in their goal or not? They don't have to be. So you need to think about what your conflict for that character is and what the ending you're writing to is, because it's impossible to write a book if you don't know where you're ending it. And this is something else where people quit NaNoWrimo because they start writing and they don't actually know what their ending is. You need to write towards that ending. There might be twists and turns along the way, but you need to know what your actual ending is. It will help you later on. Okay. So something that will help you also planning for NaNoWrimo is writing a love list of what you would like in your book. Now, this could be things that you already like. They could be things that interest you or intrigue you, or things you just think would be cool in a book. So any of those things are things that you kind of start with. You can just literally start with it on a piece of paper and write down 5 or 10 things that you really like in the world. You do not have to include all of them in your book, but it gives you an idea of a starting point of what your plot could be, especially if you have absolutely no idea what you want to write about. Making a list, a love list, like saying I like books, a library, roller coasters, Japan, and I could think about what I could incorporate out of those. So maybe I could write a book about a Japanese library that's haunted. That could be my next book if I really wanted it to. And it's just thinking about things that you might enjoy that you could actually make a book out of. Okay, so it's throwing out ideas there. Okay, so next thing. So if you ever get stuck during NaNoWriMo, another good thing to do is to make your characters' lives worse. Now, it sounds horrible, but if you make your character have another conflict, you got something to write about. If your character has no conflict, you have no plot. You have nothing to write about. So make your character have the worst life in the world. What is the other things that could stand in their way? You got to throw these things at them. So if they are trying to go on a cross-country journey to meet someone, well, there's a traffic jam. Or even worse, there's a tornado. They aren't making it. You have to think about what kind of conflicts you can throw at people. And we used to do these things in my writing group where I'd make little plot twists and I'd give them out to people so they could use them in their novel. Think about some things you could use as a plot twist to throw in front of your character when you get stuck in your book, because you will get stuck at some point, and think about what you can do to make your character's life worse. It's a very important thing to think about. The next thing is be prepared to write junk and don't edit. Now, this seems like counterproductive if you want to be a real writer and you want to sell your work later on, but actually this is how most writers write. They do not write and like edit every single sentence as they go. They write a first draft, get it out of the way, and then go back and fix it. And that is what you should be doing during NaNoWriMo. So the reason why you're writing a book in a month is so you can just get the first draft done. It is not going to be a finished book by any standard. Every professional writer out there edits their book multiple times. Like the average for a professional writer is at least 7 edits. 7. You are not going to have time to do that during NaNoWriMo, so you have to be able to just write things down and fix it later. It's very important to kind of think about what you can go back to later and fix. And don't worry if it doesn't make any sense. You can fix that later. You can fill in those plot holes and they will come back to you. Along with the editing, when you finish NaNoWriMo, leave the book to sit for a bit. Usually at least a month, if not 2, would be good to do. And then you can go back and read through it. And it will be horrible. I will promise you it will be a horrible book to start with. But that's what comes from editing. And you will understand what you need to fix then when you read through it. Because you're looking at it with fresh eyes. If you read it right away and try and edit it, you're not going to catch those problems in there. And you're going to have a hard time editing your book. I do think it's a really useful thing to come back to it later and try and fix things. Okay. And I think those are all kind of my tips for you for NaNoWriMo of how you can actually succeed in it. Oh, I forgot the last one. My last one is, sorry guys, write what you'd like to read about. Okay? Don't write your story for someone other than yourself. Because guess what? There are people like you that want to read your story, and you should be one of them. So if you're writing a book for someone else, you are going to have a hard time with it. You got to write the book for yourself. And I find this when I go back through my own books, like Becoming Death or like short stories I've read through, I'm always impressed with myself. I always read back and go, oh my God, I can't believe I wrote this. I forget I wrote these things because it's been so long since I wrote them. And I'm always kind of like, oh, I love this story so much. And that's the feeling you should get when you are reading back your own writing. So if you're not getting that, then you're probably trying to write for something else. Maybe you think, oh, I want to be the next Suzanne Collins, so I'm going to write a Hunger Games inspired book and I'm going to make millions. You're not writing for yourself then unless you really love the Hunger Games and love a dystopian genre. Write for yourself. Write what you want to read. So try and think of an idea for a book that you'd be excited to pick off the shelf, and that would be a good book for you to write for NaNoWriMo. Okay, So that is my list of the tips that you should do for NaNoWriMo. I hope this has been useful for you. If you'd like more tips about NaNoWriMo before it starts or during November, let me know in the comments. Comment down here. Let me know what you'd like to know. I did it for a long time, so I've got a lot of experience with NaNoWriMo. I've also been through the editing process and the self-publishing process through Kindle. It's not always easy, but you do get a book in return, and it can be quite cool. So I've also helped a lot of other people write their books. So if you guys have questions about writing in general, please comment and subscribe to my channel, and I'm happy to do more videos on the subject. I actually teach creative writing for a living, so any questions, I'm happy to answer them for you guys. So please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and also check out my Twitch at Fangirl Mal as well. I stream. I'm gonna leave that in. I stream every Wednesday and Saturday, sometimes Fridays as well as a pop-up stream at 7:30 UK time. So yes, if you want to Twitch with me, you can come and watch me on Wednesdays and Saturdays there. And I always have a new video every Sunday on my YouTube channel. So thanks for watching, guys. See you later, and good luck if you are writing it this November for NaNoWriMo. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm a ghost. I didn't mean to scare you there. I just wanted to tell you about a book I really like called Becoming Death that you might want to check out if you love spooky things around Halloween just like me. The book is by Melissa Brown, or as you may know her, Fangirl Mel, and you can buy it on Amazon. Here's the book. Oh my god! It's a book! Becoming Death by Melissa Brown. You can find it on Amazon. It's about Grim Reapers. Wow! Those are really scary, don't you think? So you find out what happens when your whole family are Grim Reapers, and you gotta become one as well. Sounds spooky to me. Might be something you might enjoy this Halloween season. Don't be too scared, like me. I'm always scared of everything. Alright, thanks for watching, guys!